There were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about in regards to training and education, and I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. If you've listened to my previous audios and some of my lives, I've already told you how important it is to be educated. But education is not just institutions and books. There's common sense education, there's business education, there's education on how to conduct yourself in business as far as etiquette or gathering clients or customer retention, regardless of what your industry is. So there's ways that you can conduct business in order to increase your profits or keep the profits you have in your pocket. Now I'm going to talk about one case in regards to the employee as far as how to handle your business, and one case as far as the employer. So I'm going to talk about the employee first. Number one, and I've seen this with a lot of younger people, stop talking about trying to get another job. Stop researching other jobs while you're at your current job. Now, I know a lot of you are hung up on this well, I got a freedom of speech and I'm grown and I could do whatever I want. Okay, you know what? That's not intelligent. The truth is that you are using company equipment to try to do something that goes against company guidelines. Okay? And the bottom line is, just because you think you're slick, you're sitting up there researching jobs, some of you filling out applications and everything else because it's a little slow between tasks at your job. You're thinking because you delete your history that it's completely gone. But if you work for a company that has an IT department, or if your boss is subscribed to something like Geek Squad or something like that, they can go in the back door and pull those deleted files and find out all the times that you were online, what sites you went to, and what times, and it will prove that you were not doing company-related work on company time. That's guaranteed termination. And the second thing that you do is you sit there and tell your neighbor, you tell your carpool people, you tell your homeboy who got you the job that works there and whatever about how the job sucks all the time and how you're going to leave. Eventually it gets back to the manager and you're sitting up there wondering who snitched on you. Instead of taking the energy of worrying about who snitched on you, why don't you take that same energy and learn how to put a lock on that big mouth of yours? Because if you hadn't opened it up, you wouldn't have to worry about anybody snitching on you. Okay? The first of the month is always going to be the first of the month no matter what. Rent and mortgages due. Utilities are due every single month. You might be able to carry them over for a month or two, depending on how small the balance is. You may be able to have payment arrangements, but eventually you've got to pay those bills. And if you don't have, you don't get. So please, I've seen little skits and jokes and stuff about people talking on the phone and on the computer about how rotten it is and everything else. And I'm thinking that they're doing those skits and jokes to kind of let people know how dumb it is. You don't do that. I was taught when I was younger, you don't ever say anything about another job until you know you got the other job. And once you got the other job, then you go ahead and give your notice and walk out the door, because that way you got somewhere to go. But see, a lot of you are under the impression that just because unemployment insurance is out there and you get fired from a job no matter what, that you're going to get it. Newsflash, shit don't happen that way. With unemployment, there's no guarantee you're going to get that check. It doesn't matter how many years you pay taxes. It's the nature of the termination. And I'm going to tell you something. If you go ahead and try to file a claim, they're going to do what's called an investigation first before you get your money. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go into those deleted computer files and they're going to have proof that you were on Indeed.com and Monster.com and all these other things and this site and that site filling out applications at 9:30 in the morning when your schedule is from 8 to 4 and you was on the clock. And guess what? They're going to deny your application, my friend. So then what are you going to do? Okay? So just keep your mouth closed until you know you've got something. You don't have that bird in the hand yet. And please don't be one of these fools talking about, I'm going to speak it into existence. Okay, there's nothing wrong with speaking things to existence and manifesting. I have no problem with that. But let's be for real. Right now, you ain't got that shit in your hand, okay? And you don't want to lose the little bit you've got. So in regards to the employee situation, just be careful how you conduct yourself. There's nothing wrong with educating yourself, but be careful who you're sharing your information with. Stay on point. Don't change your work habits and give anyone the indication that you are distracted. Once that position comes through for that next offer, then you go ahead and adequately give your notice. That way it won't be that much of a financial gap between paychecks so you can still take care of your bills. Okay? Now in regards to the employer, I touched on this before in a previous audio. Now, when I say education, like I stated before, it's not necessarily books or institutions. I know people who have successful businesses who barely made it out of the 8th grade or the 6th grade. But they got some kind of education. It just wasn't at school. They went to work for someone who was an established business and became their apprentice for many years, got whatever certifications they needed to get, and eventually went out on their own. That is education as well. You have to be teachable. That's the bottom line. Or you have someone who's a mentor that's trying to get you involved in a craft or an art that will allow you to make money. You have to be able to receive the information, be open, take the advice, and do what that person says because they are successful at what you are trying to achieve. But if you have an attitude where no one can talk to you, if you cannot commit to the schedule, if you cannot commit to the tasks that are given to them, if you offer a whole bunch of excuses, if you are constantly distracted, then that person who is mentoring you or teaching you or training you is not going to spend any more time with you. They're going to move on to the next person, and rightly so. So what happens with some of these people who do have these gigs or businesses or whatever, they get a little, they have a little growth spurt and they get a little overwhelmed with work and they get somebody on the side to come in and help them out. Got to be careful about that. If you've been a one-man or one-woman show for a long period of time and you're growing and that money is looking good, but you don't have enough time to take care of the little things and you need some help, don't assume that every person who says that they're qualified has your best interest, because they might have been peeping your whole situation the whole time and they know that you're not that well educated in what it is that they need help with. And they offer their services to you and you go ahead and pay them, and then all of a sudden they clean you out of your information, clean you out of all your money, and mess up your business all the way around because you didn't take time. Oh, I don't have time to learn all that paperwork and stuff. I'll get somebody to do it. That's a huge risk when you do that. A huge one. Okay? Because that person has access to all the information. They could do anything they wanted to if they wanted to. So you got to be careful. So make it a point to learn a little something about the thing that you don't want to be bothered with, just in case things go a little crazy. You will be able to see that something's not right and be able to do some troubleshooting. But if you don't know anything about the computer, or you don't know anything about the software or the bookkeeping or anything like that, and you get somebody in from the outside, ask a lot of the entertainers and the sports figures who've had money taken from them why. Because they hired the so-called expert who knew that that person was ignorant in these things and it cleaned them out. So educate yourself in what you are going into, regardless of what it is. Because at the end of the day, it's all on you. Have a great day.